Before civilization as we know it had a written language. Before Rome had an emperor. Before the pyramids of Egypt were worn smooth by centuries of desert wind. On the other side of the world, something extraordinary was already alive. Somewhere deep in the lowland jungles of what is now southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and Honduras, a people were waking up. And their morning was not like yours. They painted their skin red and black. They mapped the stars with obsidian precision. They believed that without blood, theirs or someone else's, the sun would stop rising. And they built some of the most sophisticated cities the ancient world had ever seen. They were the Maya. Let me stop right here because I need to address something. When most people hear the Maya, they picture one thing: human sacrifice. Mass killings on top of stepped pyramids. A bloodthirsty empire drunk on death, and yes, sacrifice was real. We are not going to pretend it wasn't. But here's what most people get catastrophically wrong. The Maya were not savages. They were theologians, philosophers, scientists, and the blood they offered was often their own. The Maya civilization flourished for over 2,000 years from roughly 2000 BCE to the time of Spanish contact in the 1500 CE. At its peak, during the Classic period, 250 to 900 CE, the Maya inhabited over 40 major cities, with populations sometimes exceeding 100,000 people. Cities like Tikal, Palenque, Caracal, and Copan were not primitive villages. They were administrative and theological metropolises, complete with advanced sewage systems, raised field agriculture, trade networks spanning thousands of miles, and a written language so complex that it took modern scholars over 200 years to decipher it. So the next time someone says the Maya were just primitive blood worshippers, show them this video. Let's set the stage. We are in the Classic Maya period, approximately 600 CE, the location. The lowland rainforests of the Petén Basin in what is today northern Guatemala. The landscape is brutal and lush in equal measure. Average temperatures hover near 30 degrees Celsius. Rainfall is intense but seasonal. Floods alternate with drought. And yet, the Maya chose this environment, not despite its difficulty, but because of it. Their theology was, at its core, a negotiation with nature. The jungle was not just where they lived, it was alive with gods. Every tree, every animal, every celestial body was a divine actor in a cosmic drama, and humans were not the audience. They were the fuel. According to the Popol Vuh, the sacred Maya creation text, the gods created humans for one explicit purpose: to feed the cosmos. Not with food, with remembrance, with ritual, with blood. The gods had sacrificed themselves to create the world. And the Maya believed their role was to repay that cosmic debt endlessly, generation after generation. Dawn breaks before 5 a.m. in the jungle. The air is heavy with moisture. In the lower city, the residential zones of artisans, farmers, and merchants, families are already awake. The smell of copal incense hangs over every doorway. It was burned every morning, without exception, not as tradition as obligation. To greet the sun. To confirm that the cosmic contract was still in effect. Women began the day's first task before sunrise, grinding dried maize into masa, the base of virtually every meal. Corn was not merely food for the Maya, it was identity. According to their cosmology, humans themselves were made from maize dough. To eat corn was to consume your own divine origin. Meanwhile, in the upper city, the administrative and temple complex, the priests had not slept. They had watched. All night, teams of astronomer priests tracked the movement of Venus, Jupiter, and the Pleiades from the top of flat-roofed observatories. The Maya calendar, one of the most accurate pre-industrial timekeeping systems ever devised, required constant vigilance. A miscalculation could mean planting at the wrong time, performing ritual on the wrong day, offending the gods in ways that might invite catastrophe. By mid-morning, the great marketplace was in full swing. Archaeologists working at sites like Chunchacmo in Yucatan have uncovered evidence of one of the densest market systems in the pre-Columbian world. Merchants traded cacao, used as currency, obsidian blades, jade ornaments, textiles dyed with indigo and cochineal, salt from coastal deposits, and dried fish from Lake Petén Itzá. But the most important midday activities were happening in the temple precincts. Because this was when the bloodletting rituals occurred. Let me be clear about something. When we say bloodletting, we are not always talking about the sacrifice of another person. Most Mayan ritual blood was auto-sacrifice, self-inflicted, voluntary, painful, and considered among the highest acts of devotion a human being could perform. Using stingray spines, obsidian blades, or thorns from the agave plant, priests and rulers would pierce their tongues, earlobes, and, in the case of male rulers, the most sensitive parts of their bodies. The blood was collected on bark paper, then burned. The smoke rising to the sky was believed to nourish the gods directly. We know this not from speculation, but from the walls of the temples themselves. At Yaxchilin, the carved stone lintels, commissioned by the great ruler Shield Jaguar II around 726 CE, explicitly depict Queen Zuk pulling a thorned rope through her tongue during a vision ceremony. This was considered an honor, a royal duty. As the afternoon heat broke, the city prepared for the events that gave the Maya their most enduring reputation, the great public ceremonies. These were not secret rituals. They were theatrical, civic, cosmological spectacles, performed before thousands of citizens who gathered in the plazas below the pyramids. Drumbeats echoed off the temple walls. Men dressed as gods, wearing enormous feathered headdresses, jade mosaic masks, and body paint that transformed them into divine avatars, descended the pyramid steps in carefully choreographed processions. The crowd didn't just watch. They participated, dancing, chanting, entering altered states through music, incense, and in some cases, psychoactive substances drawn from certain mushrooms and morning glory seeds, documented in the Madrid Codex and confirmed by archaeobotanical studies. And yes, on specific calendrical occasions, the rarest and most solemn form of offering was made: human sacrifice. Prisoners of war, most often captured enemy nobles or warriors, were offered to the gods in elaborate ceremonies. Decapitation, heart extraction, drowning in sacred cenotes, each method associated with a specific deity and a specific request: reign, victory, renewal, the continuation of time itself. A revolutionary LiDAR survey in 2018 revealed over 60,000 previously unknown structures in northern Guatemala, including entire cities, highways, and canals, revising the estimated Maya population to 10 to 15 million. The Chichen Itza sacred cenote yielded thousands of artifacts and over 200 skeletons, with isotopic analysis showing that many offerings were imported from hundreds of kilometers away. The Dresden Codex, one of 4 surviving Maya books, contains astronomical tables that track Venus with an accuracy unsurpassed in Europe until Copernicus. The Maya diet was sophisticated, based on the Three Sisters maize, beans, and squash, and included cacao as a bitter ceremonial drink. Their art, as seen in the Bonampak murals, was highly expressive. They developed a logosyllabic script, one of only 5 independently invented writing systems. Maya society was hierarchical, with the Ajah, divine king, at the top. They engineered raised field agriculture, underground cisterns, cholchans, and limestone roads, sakbas, to thrive in the jungle. The Maya did not collapse but adapted. Today, over 7 million Maya people live across Central America, speaking 30 distinct languages and maintaining ancient traditions. Their practice of bloodletting was not barbaric, but a profound expression of their worldview, a belief that existence requires sacrifice to maintain cosmic balance. They developed a concept of zero, created stunning art, and built a civilization that thrived in a challenging environment. The Maya are still here. I want to hear from you. What was your reaction to learning about Maya self-sacrifice? Does it change your perception of their civilization? Let me know in the comments. Also, tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Finally, vote for our next topic: the Aztec Empire, ancient Egypt's hidden cults, the real Vikings, or ancient China's Shang dynasty. Your choice determines our next video. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe. Stay curious.